I'm Ted Orme-Claye, editor of Insider Sport of SBC. I'm here at the SBC Summit Lisbon where I'm talking to Brendan Parnell of the Arena Racing Company about everything to do with UK horse racing. So thanks for taking the time to speak with us, Brendan. You worked in Australian betting, racing and sports for 20 years, I believe. What was it that attracted you to the role at the ARC?
Thanks, Ted, for welcoming me along today. Yeah, so the attraction of Arena followed a career which covered all those areas. Most recently, I had the privilege of running one of the largest racing jurisdictions in the world, which had 119 race courses on the back of revenues of over 450 million, employing about 15,000 people. Before that, I ran Tats Group Wagering, so the large bookmaker with the brand UBet, so 1,300 betting shops online, 4 jurisdictions in Australia, revenue of over 500 million. And prior to that, international wagering for Tabcorp, so connecting betting pools around the world with all the major betting jurisdictions. So when you combine that experience, and I got a phone call from Arena, the largest racecourse ownership group in UK with 21 stadia for horses and greyhounds, but what a great chance to drive the commercial outlook and sustain an industry which is still the second most attended sport in UK.
So historically, obviously betting and racing are as old as each other, aren't they really? Why do you think racing is such a core product for the industry?
Well, racing and betting are intrinsically linked. They have been, I think, for everyone's memory, such a critical element of a betting operator's product is racing. And quite often we use the analogy, it's a bit like one of the staple products of the betting supermarket. So for us, getting our racing as a betting product right is really important. So we're very, very focused on things like field size, product innovation which delivers value for bookmakers, innovations such as the Racing League, a summer series, team-based, or the All-Weather Championships worth £1 million winter with rich finals days on Good Friday, as examples of some product development. And then when you look to our media platform, Sky Sports Racing reaching more than 1 million Brits each month, and the busiest racing website is attheraces.com, maximising the eyeball reach is really important and getting it right from a betting operator's perspective. And it's important because with 21 stadia ourselves, 59 horse courses in the UK, our prize money is not as competitive as our neighbours in Ireland and in France. We've got important facilities to invest in. Arena's prize money investment since 2019 is up more than 80%. But us being more commercial and extracting an equitable value from what we're selling to bookmakers is important to sustain a really important and a very big employer in UK.
You've kind of touched on the online element there. Obviously, over the past 20 years, digitisation has been touching everything, hasn't it? And the betting industry has really felt the brunt of that. So in this context, how has racing's relationship with the retail sector evolved? Where do you see this going?
Well, as you see, a lot of young folk these days on their mobile phones and other digital devices, you can see how rapidly technology has evolved. But interestingly, other sectors have talked about the demise of retail. It's not happening in betting. So last year for Arena, around 50% of our revenue came from retail. If you look at the Gambling Commission data, around $7 billion was wagered on horses to 2023 in retail. That compares to $9 billion on digital, and it's a similar number for football betting on digital. And there's still around 7,000 betting shops in the UK, so it's still quite vibrant, and there is a predominance of retail wagering when you look through a lot of Europe as well. So when you look at organisations such as our subsidiary, which is called Vermantia, based in Athens, Greece, we acquired the majority of that business in recent years, and it's a business about serving the betting shops of the world, predominantly Europe, and they do that through automated channels, data integration. A number of our channels which we send to UK bookmakers are produced through Vermantia, and they produce a number of other fantastic screen displays. So retail has a really important role, and later on I'll touch on the importance of self-service betting terminals as well in retail.
Yeah, I agree with your point there about retail been sticking around. I used to work in William Hill Bookmakers actually, and we always had a very solid, consistent customer base. A lot of good lads used to come in. So, yeah, I think it'll always have its place, definitely. Now, you mentioned obviously the work you've done with Vermantia and some of the other things you're doing. Like, could you just give me a bit more detail on this? What other things is Arena working on to kind of improve the product for its customers?
Yeah, there's a range of things, Ted, that we're working on. I mean, the predominant revenue source for us is still UK betting. and it's still where the majority of that revenue therefore comes through. But we're now on turnover deals with bookmakers, and that gives us access to data we never had before to make informed decisions, good business intelligence, and we can share with bookmakers market share performance on things like self-service, overall retail, and we can demonstrate where some bookmakers might be underperforming compared to others and help them find ways to present racing in a better way. And it's likewise, we're always focused on enhancing our own product. Another example is we're using machine learning or artificial intelligence tools to drive revenue growth. And we're doing that to reorder races within a fixture. And the early trials have demonstrated a positive uplift for bookmakers. So we're looking to roll out that race reordering more broadly to our fixtures. But the upside for bookmakers is there. And I mentioned other product innovations like all-weather championships, racing league, and a big focus on field size.
So a lot of the stuff we've covered on Insider Sport to do with racing lately has been about the international cooperation that's been going on between different racing sort of governing bodies and other stakeholders such as yourselves. Why are we looking to find a way to sort of work more closely? What do you think this will achieve in the long run?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, that global supermarket of betting that the bookmakers now have, racing is just one product. And it makes eminent sense for us, where we can, to partner up with other racing jurisdictions to align how racing is presented. It makes it more seamless to integrate for bookmakers. And we're competing against other sports and other gambling opportunities like gaming, like casino. And for racing to come together and realise that we're a fantastic sport with great integrity and to present a more aligned view. So we've recently announced the formation of a Global Media Rights Alliance so that we can make it a more seamless integration of racing for bookmakers.
I think there's a really strong rationale for this. A lot of it makes a lot of sense as to why you'd want to do this. How will it actually work about in practice?
Well, earlier this year, Ted, you might recall that we launched GBI, which is an export venture between us and Jockey Club's media business, RMG, to have one platform, multiple channels for UK racing. So when we talk to customers around the world, we're talking with one voice, and that has been a great success. So taking British racing with one package and one voice via one platform, we use Fermantia quite a bit with that. That's an example of working together. So more recently in June, we announced this year the Racing One Rights Alliance, bringing the best of British, American and Australasian racing together in one alliance, which will then go and pioneer new territories. So instead of racing being complicated, a bit analogue in the terminology we use, it gives us a chance to offer customers in those markets a much easier to integrate package of racing, which is 24/7.
So I think something to address here with some of these sportsbooks and casinos looking to add racing kind of into their product portfolio. Is racing a difficult product to manage?
Well, I mentioned it's been a bit analogue in some of the terminology that's still used, whether you're imperial or metric, you're into furlongs, yards or metres, handicaps versus weight for age versus claiming races. We do have a sport that does need to be explained for customers. So I think that's why we've got to find a solution, Ted, to make it easier for the bookmakers and their customers to accommodate it and explain it for them.
So just to close off for us, could you just elaborate a bit more on this further? How are you aiming to make things simpler for bookmakers in this area? Well,
back in 2020, via our media subsidiary at the races, we partnered to launch Markets, a service partnering with Pythia to create a risk management and an integration tool for bookmakers. And that's been a great success. What we're looking to do, though, is to take that 120,000 racing events packaged up and integrated for bookmakers to the next level. And apart from an integration for that and integration for vision, the next one is actually completing the big hurdle for the emerging bookmaker market, which will be the integration. And we'll have a one-stop shop, if you like, which will enable the full integration of risk management, the data and the vision for betting operators. And we'll have more details on that in coming weeks. And it's really exciting because it will make bookmakers, whether they're a numbers bookmaker, a sports bookmaker or a casino bookmaker, an opportunity to simply plug and play a racing offer, and racing which includes not just horse racing, it also includes greyhound racing as well, in a very simple and seamless, easy to use tool.
Great. Well, it seems like there's clearly a lot to keep an eye on with this, with something that is quite a historic sport in the form of racing, definitely. Thanks so much for taking time to speak with me, Brandon.
Thanks, Ted. Cheers.
Cheers.